Hello, welcome to I'm Yet to Doubt Me. This is day 9 of vlogging and day 4 of podcasting. Lessons I've learned and things I've experienced. I know you see me in the dark. This is what it's taking for me to shoot this video today. I went out and shot a bunch of footage that will end up becoming something else. I tried to shoot this earlier in the day several times. It was just a day. Today was a very different day than I could have ever anticipated. So different that I decided to go to Bible study in the city and then forgot my wallet. Did not realize I forgot my wallet till I was clearly in the suburbs and would take way too long to return, that no one would probably be there by the time I got there. Also, that drive, I don't think my body had it in me to do that drive to the city again and then get the wallet and then come home. Too much. Yes, my phone was not in my purse. Yes, my headphones were not in my purse. Yes, the car keys were not in my purse. But my house keys were in the purse. My wallet was in the purse. My favorite lip gloss was in the purse. I almost crashed into a car driving home, still trying to look for it, when I suddenly realized, wait, the car's moving and it is red, not green like you thought it was. Hit the brakes in time. But at that point I realized, okay, this is affecting you more than you need to get a hold of yourself and like recapture your day. And so, a lot of times you think, I've learned to not let, when something shakes the day, to let it totally send the day off. So today I decided not to go to the library, and for the very reason that every video I've shot there, I've ended up having to merge the sound from their computer system with my video, because for some reason I kept not hitting the right button for audio on my video. And so then I would have to merge the only audio I had with the video. And as you saw, sometimes it worked, sometimes not quite. And then sometimes you could see where it wasn't working. But again, so we're going to just stick to simple, easy, uncomplicated relationships, just like in life, right? And then I found out, so funny enough, this morning, I don't even know what happened, but I got this like notification for some YouTube video. I think I had wrote a comment or something, or did something with my phone, and then this video popped up. And the video was how to get storage on your iPhone. And I know I had ranted and raved about clearing the cache and just had a whole mental thought of what's the easiest way to do it. And someone had a YouTube video, again, no promises, but it may be a link below for iPhone users. If I can find the video, if I can find where I watched the video. That's a new issue for me. Where I watched videos and when I watched are becoming issues all of a sudden. I'll figure that out soon. But anyways, so the guy like gives step by step how to clear caches in your phone. And I do all of it. And then I do it to my Google Maps, because I'm like, oh, you use that so much. There's so much data in there that could be gone. And then I decide to use Google Maps to drive to the city, because I don't use Apple Maps. I don't use Waze. I'm a Google girl, and Google and I have a fun relationship, and I love it. I get to test out all kinds of random stuff. I get to edit the map, all kinds of really good things. So I'm a Google girl, always and forever. And so what ends up happening is, because I've cleared the cache in the Google Maps, it wasn't giving me live traffic. and I'm like, I gotta go in and figure out what setting I've either shut off or done something too. And I thought, okay, well, it's just with you going. When you come back, it'll be fine. When I was coming back, it wasn't fine. And again, another reason to mess with the phone while driving. And I was just like, we're gonna hopefully remember this before I have to drive again, and hopefully get a moment to fix this. Because not being able to see, the whole purpose of Google Maps for me is I use it even when I'm driving to somewhere I know for two reasons. One, so I can see the traffic data and avoid crazy situations or situations I don't want to be in. And then two, I have a knack on random times where I zone out when I'm driving. And either I'm really hyped up on the music I'm listening to, or there's a thought in my head and I've given it more thought than I should. And then instead of going where I should be going, I go somewhere else. So sometimes it's where I was thinking of. Sometimes it's where so like I'll like one time I was my mom had said something that was irritating me, and I started driving to her house instead of driving to my house. And I didn't realize I was doing that till it was pretty far. I'd gotten far. And I was like, ugh. So to avoid things like that, I always have the Google Maps on to remind me of where I'm going. And then sometimes it's not that I'm not heading in the right place. It's that I didn't take the most optimized route there. Or instead of turning somewhere, because I'm used to turning in that place, or that place seemed like a thought for me at that moment. And somehow, I don't know, but I've learned that if I keep it on, we get where we're going on time, in time, with less issues. Even if I choose to like go my own way different from it, it still keeps me in check to remembering where I'm going, even if it's a heavy day with a lot of mental thoughts. So yeah. And as you can see, this has become a heavy day with a lot of mental thoughts. But we will get through it, or I have gotten through it, and I will continue to get through it. But thank you for sticking with me, and thank you for coming along for this journey. And thank you for being willing to accommodate as I take you along for the journey. But I'm looking into the direction in which I want to go going forward now that I've freed myself of the shackle of the library and being on a system and in a set spot. I'm looking at other options of how I want this to go, or where this is going, more say. Because sometimes some journeys aren't about how you want them to be. Sometimes they're about what they're revealing in you and the situation. And then you start getting an idea of where it's headed. I had some today. I don't want to pop no cherries yet. I just want to sit back, and I'm also enjoying the ride. I'm also enjoying the direction in which this is going and how it's growing and some of the things that are coming from it. So understanding how to use all my gadgets. So like today, since I wasn't doing the mic in a set spot, I thought, okay, well, I have several mics. Let's maybe plug the mics to, because I really liked the sound that was coming from the podcasting and doing that. I enjoyed that sound. So I was going to try and recreate that sound, but directly to the laptop, since I liked shooting on the laptop. But I do also like shooting on the phone, because then I get to be on the go. I get to pick my location, and it gets to change. And it kind of like gives an element of surprise to the videos, which I do like. And I like being able to carry people along with me, not just on the daily journey, but on the moment journey, right? And so trying to see how this best fits, and what it looks like and what it doesn't look like, and what the vibes I'm starting to get from it, as well as where it's going. I think when you're planning a journey, you can map it out. You can wing it, which I'm really good at. I've always been good at that. But I'm also a planner. So when I was a kid, I would plan. When I was younger, I had this illusion that I wanted to live an optimized life where I was successful at everything I said I wanted to be successful at and achieved every goal I set out to achieve. With the exception of things that maybe seemed like goals worth letting go of. But so then I said, well, how does one do that? Please note I was very young when these thoughts went through my head. A little too young to be thinking like this. But again, in my childhood, I had more adult friends than I had child friends. So I think that's where a lot of these things were born from. And so watching them having failed in their lives or not live the lives they thought they would, and trying to make sure I live the life I thought I would. I think that was what this thought came through. And as a child, it's easier to attempt something than when you're older, right? It's easier to navigate it. So what I decided to do was write a daily schedule. And then I took it one step further and I said I was going to write an hourly schedule. And then I took it further and then I wrote a minute schedule. Because I figured if you hone it down to the minutes, then there was less likelihood that you would deviate from the plan. So then I said, okay, now that I've written down the plan and I've got it down to minute, let me execute it. And within the first 10 minutes, I realized really quickly that it is not sustainable to try and plan down minute by minute, even for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or a 20-minute interval. You just can't. Things will happen. Real things will happen. Life will life. And even if it worked well for an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours, at some point, there will be a monkey in the wrench and it will all topple over and create a mess. But what happened to me was something I didn't expect in this experiment. As a child who liked achieving her goals and who liked setting goals and the reward of them, I had a whole really negative reaction to falling off of those minutes. It was so negative. It took me back and I had to have a whole moment with myself and say, what's wrong here? And why are you yes, it's okay to mess up. And that's all you've done. So let's recover. But instead, I was so focused on how couldn't even I just keep to a minute plan? You can do this. Just stick to the minutes. And then I redid the plan for the next couple of minutes and then tried it again. And then it failed again again as, something else happened. And then it failed again. And then I wanted to beat myself up. And then I said, hold on. The reason why you created this plan in the first place was because you knew enough people who didn't stick to their plan and weren't successful at all their plans and had failed at a lot of things that they had thought they could get and achieve. And so maybe the real lesson here is that you can't control everything in life like you want to. And so then the next lesson was, well, if I can't control everything, what can I control? And how can I control it? I'm telling you, I was not a normal child. The thoughts that went through my brain as a child, it took a lot of growing out of, let's say that much, not even growing into, growing out of a lot of mentalities that were very rigorous. I just wasn't willing to bend. So it was really good when I was in grade school and we read a book. Was it grade school? Yeah, grade school or high school? I don't remember when I read Nectar and a Sieve. But anyway, up until that point, I really was struggling with trying to control things and people and places and situations. I learned Manipulation 101 from family. I come from a family who's really good at teaching the women how to control situations. And so I figured I had the skill sets to accommodate any situation and environment. And then the book Nectar and a Sieve hit. And then that taught bend so you don't break. And so it also taught that well planned out things will have natural disasters and natural situations that you can't control. You just can't control. I don't care how well you pray, how much you tell God what you want, or how well you see a fortune teller or pay people to act a certain way, or how well you've planned and connived a situation. Just finished watching a British series on Amazon Prime, and she's using her etiquette to construct situations and align things to fit in the box that she wants it, and making things happen and adapting situations and people manipulation, aka. And so it just reminded me of how much I've grown, to be able to watch it and not even want to emulate it in any way, and to be proud that I no longer even want that from people. I'm okay experiencing people as they come, even if it's painful, even if it's not what I expected or wanted from them, even if it's not the way I want to see them. It's beautiful to see people as they are. It is. And it's beautiful to accept them as they are. I think that's some of the beauty and joy of life. But if you're so busy just trying to have life the way you want it in a comfort zone you need it, you'll miss all of that. And you won't get to enjoy the person as they come and as they are and what they are and who they are. And I'm, preparing mentally for my future and hopefully my future spouse as well. And I don't know what that will look like and what that will be like, but being willing to allow the person to be themselves, being willing to allow the person to come with what they come with, and accommodating that. And, I come with scars. I have scars mentally, physically, all over me. And I had to learn to adjust to my scars and accommodate people despite my scars. I keep walls and I have shields, and understanding when to bend and understanding when to give room for people, and to make sure that, my scars don't keep me from experiencing what I'm meant to experience in that season or in that time. So, yeah. These are the things we go through as we navigate life. And again, life is about the journey, right? So if it's about the journey, if you've mapped out the journey so much so you can't even enjoy it, then it's not about the journey. It's about your map. It's about what you want and how you've decided it's going to be. Sometimes we can expect certain things. So like in life, we expect that if someone is intending or desiring to be married, they should have done it by their 30s, right? And then we're expecting that anybody who's single between late 30s and 50s should be a divorcee or someone who's been in an unhealthy relationship and is finally free of it and is now looking for a new version or a better version. But that's not always true, right? There are people who've never been married, don't have children, and who do pass the 30, 40, and 50 gap and are still looking to have a happily ever after. And, we shouldn't keeping those perceptions on people. We should learn, and I'm saying this to me too. I'm learning in this season that my perception of what life should be and where people should be at certain stages of life and ages in life needs to stop being a thing. I need to stop projecting my plan of life or my expectation of where people should fall in life on others. And I hope you learn that, and I hope you walk in that as well too, as we grow together on this very fun journey. And if you liked some of this, and if some of this was helpful to you, share, like, and subscribe. And thank you for coming along my journey and and being the end of my day, despite the fact that I'm nervous that I've lost my wallet and all my cards with it, including my IDs and what else am I missing in the wallet? A really nice perfume. I keep a little tiny like perfume sample bottle in there so that like today when I was really sweaty and not my best going into this environment where I needed to be a little better, I used the perfume in there, and that's how I knew it had left the car. The purse had left the car with me. And so, you know, again, sometimes we get so caught up in our thoughts that we forget things. And I apparently was caught up in my thoughts quite much today. And just learning to come out of my own box, learning to not doom myself by the thoughts that come. And luckily, a lot of my thoughts today were very positive. They weren't, majority of them were positive. Some were doom scroll. And I think that's where I started to struggle. I believe in a beautiful future and a positive future for me. And I believe that I will have it. And I know that I will. I know I will have it. But sometimes when I start getting close to the beginning of that future occurring, I get nervous. My nervousness is not from the actualization of the future. My nervousness is on my fear that I will mess it up. And sometimes I'm so afraid I will mess it up. Like I said earlier, I don't know if no, in the previous video, as I said, if you start thinking a thought too heavily, you bring it forth and give it life. Because our thoughts can become life. And so we have to be careful what we're birthing into life. So if you want that future and you want to believe that you won't mess it up and that you'll get it right, then you have to be willing to let go of the fear that you're going to mess it up. You have to be willing to let go of the thoughts that come that tell you you're going to mess it up. You have to be willing to let go of the actions that go along with you thinking you're going to mess it up and not feed into any of that. And again, I'm saying that to myself too. And I'm reminding myself that this is my new stance and this is my new way of operating, and that I will go forth and not jeopardizing what I believe in and what I know will be true. So, Godspeed and live well. Till tomorrow. Have it good.